Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. This is Tim 2.0, Uncle Tim, aka
Uncle Tim 2.0 review.
We have Keison, Big Keison. We have
the Bearded Gentleman, aka Raymond Reddington, aka Loose Change. You know what? We're gonna get rid of loose change. Pocket change. We're gonna go with pocket change.
Okay, pocket change. So what we're gonna talk about today, I had to throw a disclaimer out there because it's going to be so controversial. And he wanted to talk about this. This is a woman's right, but he wanted to talk about this. So we gonna go there. This was his decision. All his. So with that being said, this is a disclaimer stating that any backlash we receive.
Anytime anybody said all that, y'all know it was their idea. I just want y'all to know that.
Season, so let it go there. No, I'm sure. This video will be on why is Chicago on fire. Got nothing to do with women. Why is Chicago on fire? Last night they started looting downtown Michigan, Macy's. Macy's, Nordstrom, everything down at this strip. They looted. Then on North Clybourne, they looted Best Buy, Ulta, Benny's. They're looting their ass off. And I'm just trying to figure out of all of that progress we made, not me personally out there marching and doing all that, I have to say, these young people in this Black Lives Matter movement and all these other separate movements, they're fearless. They don't have to worry about, losing everything, going to jail, losing their job. And, when you young, you fearless. You have nothing to lose. But when you're my age, you can lose every damn thing. And that's it. Game over. But these young people out there marching for freedom, marching for rights, then you got these motherfuckers off to the side. I'm just being honest. Doing this. Completely obliterating everything that them happened over the last 2 or 3 months. What's that about?
From my standpoint, I think it's an attack on capitalism. And what I mean by that is when Donald Trump said, I'm going to send, you know what, I'm not even going to use his name again. He gonna fall in the category of that other person. He that shall not be named. I'm going to call him Voldemort. When he said, I'm going to send federal troops into 3 places. Federal secret police. I'm going to send it into Portland, Chicago, Albuquerque. Portland is stereotypically known for liberal white. Chicago, for those of you who don't live in Chicago, is known as the equivalent of saying black. It's a code word for black. Albuquerque, a code word for the Latinx population. With that, rioting is what people are doing who feel oppressed, who feel that they have no capitalism, and they want to take from those who have it. I'm not agreeing with rioting. I'm not agreeing with that. What I'm doing is trying to understand why someone would do it, why someone would riot. And again, these are not the protesters. And that's where people get confused. The protesters are peacefully protesting all the things that are going on, and there are a multitude of different things going on, with the top being police brutality. The rioters, on the other hand, are feeling oppressed and saying, while they're over there protesting, I don't feel nothing's being done. The only way that I feel that I'm going to get something done is if we go and we hit them in their pockets. And by hitting them in their pockets, taking products, taking these things because they're saying, hey, they have insurance, they can be replaced. Is that correct? No. But if you look at every protest that's almost ever happened, there's usually some type of rioting that happens alongside it. Not by the same people, but alongside it. So when people start to loot, when people start to see the money go, they start to say, okay, it's real. the reason the Black Lives Matters movement, I think, is even stronger is because, unfortunately, of COVID-19. Because now everyone can sit around and say, "Oh, now we can focus on it." Because I know they used to say, the revolution will not be televised, but guess what? It needed to be televised. And by it being televised, we are at this moment where we are now. People feel oppressed. People feel that they're not getting any help from their government. People feel that there's no money in their communities. So they're saying, hey, I'm going to go and take from those who have. Is it right? No. Do they feel some type of way? Yes. But I also want to say this before I turn it over back to Uncle Tim. Not all the people out there are of African ancestry. Two, not all of the people out there are from Chicago. Chicago just gets the rap of it because that's where it's happening. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So when I say what I say, it's just like, if you look at all of this as a whole, these are like you said, they all separate groups. Somebody said, why don't these Black Lives Matter movement people come into the Black community and help with the crime? I get all of that, but won't they come help with the crime? And 80% of the Black Lives Matter movement, a good 70, between 60 and 70% of them are white. There are a lot of a lot of Black Lives Matter movement people who are white. So you want the white people to come into the community and show you how to raise your kids, show you how to be a better person, how to be a better parent. Now, how is that going to come off? If you say they're oppressing you, now they're telling you what to do. Hey, at the end of the day, we don't want to do not hear you. I'm just saying, people in general nowadays, some people don't want to do any work. They blame everybody else for the situation that's going on. I see people walking around here with $5 damn pair of shoes on, and you telling me you can't eat. What the hell is that? Your priorities are wrong. Instead of taking the money and buying food, you went and bought a pair of damn shoes. Now you walking around crying. I'm not hearing that. I believe people are hurting, yes. But I believe a lot of people are hurting due to situations made by them. You can't be both the victim and the antagonist at the same damn time. It don't work like that. I know in this country, it's worked like that for years. But damn, right now you can't be both. Because the looters are destroying what the protesters are doing. So nobody's taking us serious. So you right back in the spot where you started at. If no one's taking you serious, what are you doing?
Well, I want to say this. One, this is not an indictment of all the groups that are out there in places like Chicago on a daily basis. There are plenty of groups out there on a daily basis trying to diffuse situations, for lack of a better term, gang interactions, and keep people safe. There are groups that do this on a daily, so this ain't new to them. They're just now getting the publicity. Another point that you highlighted is that there are a lot of advocates of the Black Lives Matter movement who are present. But them being present, unfortunately, is one of the only reasons I feel it's being taken seriously. There's been plenty of times that we've marched and we've said this and we said that, and nothing happened. It is only happening because we have some advocates. What a lot of people, yes, they cannot come to the community and tell us how to raise ourselves and do what we need to do. There is not, or nor have there ever been in my lifetime, one way that people feel that they can help their community. Even if you go back to the civil rights era, there were multiple groups doing a multitude of different things, whether it was from a religious standpoint with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X with the Black Muslim movement, or was it the Black Panthers and the way that they moved? And then you had extremists who were beyond that, who were doing other things that they thought were better. there's not one way to do it. We're not all going to agree on how everyone dictates how things need to be fixed. But what we can say is stop looking at what divides us and look at what brings us together. Uh, Brother Malcolm said, you know, we keep looking at our differences, we'll never look at what makes us the same. If we're looking at our religion, we're all going to start to separate. If we look at what our advocacy is, we're going to start to separate ourselves. What is the same? The same is that we all feel oppressed. We all feel that it is a moment in time that if I don't have the freedoms that is afforded to a so-called American, that things aren't going to get better. I can just continue to see them getting worse.
Right. I just believe a lot of these people nowadays are not just thinking. You know, at the end of the day, you won't change. But you can't each time change comes, you start knocking it. Everybody won't change to be a certain way that they used to. Change can never be what you used to. If it's what you used to, it's not change.
True. Well, everyone wants it the way, like you said, I don't disagree. People want to see change the way that they want to see change. But again, whether you get it or not, how are you going to respond to it? Because again, if you get change and if they said they're going to do reparations today and give everyone, $1,200, and that's all y'all gonna get, that's reparations, we done with it. People still wouldn't be happy. If they said, hey, you know what, we're gonna give free education to everyone who classifies themselves as black or of African ancestry, everyone still wouldn't agree to it. If they said today, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna create economic prosperity in the so-called black communities by showing people how to create businesses and how to fend for themselves. We're going to be there for a small amount of time, and then we're going to leave, and then we're going to see you prosper, and then we're not going to allow any outside forces to invest in this community for at least 10 years, giving you 10 years of prosperity where you can grow without outside influences. Everyone's not going to agree to that. Everyone is not going to agree what the solution is, but the thing is, solutions need to be offered. And once they're offered, you have to do with it what you can, and then you work on the next thing. Yes, you shouldn't be happy with everything that you're given, but you should work with what you got to get to the next level. So then, you know what? That's one thing off the checklist. Let's move to the next point. Now we got to focus on this. If we can just be seen as human, if we can just be seen as equal, if we can just be seen as citizens of this country, we wouldn't be in half the situations we are.
I agree.
It's a reason you haven't really heard me personally out of my mouth say black, because I understand just by reading the dictionary, everything related to the term black is bad. Black cat, black magic. When a witch is bad, she wears black. When a witch is good, she wears what? The opposite of black.
Right.
Again, everything black that you've been taught is bad. So again,
Black Lives Matter.
See, so you just heard bad lives matter. People got to understand that. Dr. Clark said it. He said, look, I only debate my equals. All others I teach.
You know what? Okay, in a topic of this, I'm going to make this quick. Oprah said we shouldn't be marching for George Floyd. Mm-hmm. We should be marching for Breonna Taylor. To me, that felt like a slap in the people who are marching because, one, okay, a life loss is a life loss regardless of how it happened. Mm-hmm. Okay, they said the guy was trying to pass off a fake bill. Okay, that ain't no reason to kill him. Mm-hmm. Okay, Breonna Taylor was in the house and the cops broke in and boyfriend got a gun and started shooting people. And they shot her to death. Cop that got away with it moved to another state and became a cop somewhere else in Cincinnati. So, somewhere in Ohio at least. But the point I'm making here is, if you keep knocking what's going on. If you trying to steer the movement and you ain't out here marching yourself, she said she would be marching if it wasn't for COVID-19. And we both know this woman won't get out here and help anybody. She's known for tearing men down. So I'm confused.
All right. Well, one thing I want to highlight is one, she's known for tearing men of African ancestry down. I want to highlight that because I've seen her
Okay.
defend men of other hues with no problem, even when they've been convicted or soon to be convicted of specific crimes.
Man,
I believe. I'm sorry.
I said she threw Bill Cosby under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey Weinstein, she was defending to the last breath.
Mm-hmm. I feel that the reason I think it's twofold why she would say march for Breonna Taylor, or threefold why she would say march for Breonna Taylor and not march for George Floyd. One, Breonna Taylor's story is stronger in her mind than George Floyd. You know, I was just having a conversation with my wife this morning about this exact subject. And I was reading an article. When you are of African ancestry in this country, you are guilty until proven innocent. When you are of any other hue or any other geographical area in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. So with that, Breonna Taylor has a stronger story. When they start digging into George Floyd's background, they say, well, he did this. So, that means he was this type of person. It doesn't matter what that man did in his past. It matters what that man was doing to be executed the way that he was. Two, I think for Oprah, again, I think some of her biases of men of African ancestry is showing. So for her, it's easier to say, I want to support a woman of African ancestry. And by supporting a woman of African ancestry, this seems more comfortable to her as we've highlighted her biases. And then the third thing is, I think you're going to bring out more feminists and more women in general to defend Breonna Taylor than you would to defend a George Floyd. Again, when they start to look at his past and they start to see things are a little different, not understanding that people are different, people are difficult, people have different and difficult past. Everyone's history isn't squeaky clean. I'm not sitting here defending his past. I'm sitting here defending that man should not have been executed the way that he was, and that should not be a basis of why you feel that he should have been executed, was based off past actions that literally killed no one. So thus, his life was worth sparing and saving. Not sparing. Wrong use of words. Saving, so that he can continue to be here and say it himself.
Knew him. So that lets you know that means a lot of different credibility to the situation. If I know you, there had to be something really personal to sit there and actually kills that man. You didn't even think. You knew you had killed this man. And you thought you was going to walk free from it.
Mm-hmm.
Wife filed for divorce. Hell, even a black cop was indicted on it. His own family was like, he should get, some jail time. He knew. What I'm just trying to say here is, a lot of times we don't use our sense. And I'm just being honest. A lot of times as black people, we don't use our sense. We believe just being black is enough, and we done been through all of this. That's enough. You should feel our pain and our, this and that. Nah. Each day we got to work for something different. We're not like every group. We don't come in and, we get access to loans and stuff like that. We come into this country, we don't get access to nothing. We get access to basically the worst treatment you could ever think of. And that's just my opinion. Sir?
Well, you know what? We spend a lot of time fighting and fighting and fighting, and people just think we're fighting to fight. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is if you're first to do anything, and I've stated this off camera, and you know I have, you're gonna die on that mountain alone. And by the people of African ancestry in America being the first to ask for equal rights, to fight and get equal rights, they're the ones dying on that mountain so that everyone else can stand on that mountain and say, well, look, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard for you. You don't get followed around stores. People don't have code names for you. People don't look at you and assume they know your life story. People don't look at you and assume that you're 100% just from the quote-unquote ghetto, which is a derogatory term that people should stop using. People don't look at you and say, oh, you got that nappy hair. Oh, you must you must like putting products in your hair. Oh, that follow you around the store. Hey, can I help you type of mentality. People don't understand there's more than just, we're not asking to be victims. We're asking to be treated as equal. I'm tired of asking for rights that are civil. It's time to start asking for rights that are equal.
But you know what? You know, the hate in this country is so out of hand that people done put us in a point that, you know, nobody can take it anymore. You know, not the blacks are not taking it anymore. The whites are not taking it. So the Inglewood incident could have triggered all of this stuff. Looking at the news and that, and they don't get it. You keep messing with people. You keep messing with them. You keep messing with them. Sooner or later, people gonna have a damn fit. You know, everybody talking about, yeah, you don't want a war. You don't want a war. You don't want a war. We'll kill off all African Americans. I'm gonna tell you something. Never fight a person who don't have not a damn thing to lose. Never get in a relationship with a person who don't have nothing to lose, because you will lose every damn thing. Just life.
Well, you know what? And I know we've been going on long. We might even have to do two parts to this one. Is that, you know, there's never been a revolution that never had bloodshed. There's never been a revolution that's never had bloodshed. So with that, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to end it on that one. You know what I'm saying? Because as you hear my son in the background, I want to see my son come into a world that he's equal and not just have civil rights. So with that, the bearded gentleman is going to sign off.